this is Chicken Ticker. So I'm bringing you a special video about how to improve your skills. Doesn't matter if you're new to the game or if you're like 10,000 games in the game or 20,000 games. You might find something very interesting. I've summed up the very unique and the very important skill levels you might need for becoming a better player. So here's how I summarized it up. First of all, I recommend you to install mods, and what I mean by mods is, for example, you might want to have a zooming mod. For example, I use zooming mod to make sure my shots are more accurate than normally, because normally wargaming only allows you like 8 times zoom or something like that. So if you get a mod that has, for example, 32 times zoom, you're gonna know why you can't. Why is it you can see the tank's name above the tank, but then you don't actually see the outline on the tank. So you can find out why by zooming extra further in, and you might think, okay, I found out that there's a little wall in front, and I know that I can fire through the wall after 8.10 or something like that. You can fire through the wall, so therefore those zoom mods will really work. And also you can just see through bushes, more layers of bush if you have more zoom, just to tell you that. And plus, it's much more accurate. And if you have a shaky hand, it does come better when you zoom like further in. It wouldn't really ruin the game. So that's what I think about the mods. And then you want to get yourself a very clear aiming mod. For example, the reason I don't like DG mod, I used to use it, but the thing was, there was just too much content on display, which was this thing. It's too much rather than anything else. Because it's too much, I think really it might actually bring down my skill level, because you might sometimes it might actually be a problem. It can actually cause you problems if you have a simple aiming mod like the one I'm using now. It's called JM1 something like that. I think someone in the comments will point out what's this mod called I'm using right now. I think it's simple, and yeah, it's just anything you really need, really. So that's why I would say get yourself a better mod. First of all, number one, maybe get yourself the mods you prefer. You want to get yourself a what's those mods? Oh yeah, the XVM mods, to see how good the enemy plays, so you can see if you want to risk taking out the player, if he's really good player or not. You can decide those stuff if you have a XVM mod installed. And also, for example, I know that the T54 here was last spotted here, Object 704 was here previously. It really helps your gameplay, and that could mean that you either win the game or you lose. So you want to make your stats go better, so you have to improve that. And okay, moving on, next one is I really think you should watch YouTube. Probably you're watching YouTube right now anyway, because you're watching my video, but I really recommend players like Cookie Baby. If you haven't seen him, go check him out. Because he's a good player, I really recommend you to watch him and how he plays, and I certainly learned a lot from him. And yeah, that's just what I want to point out. Also, Jingo's videos are more fun rather than anything else. So I don't particularly recommend Jingo for skills, but then sometimes subscribers do send him very good replays. Yeah, so you can check him out as well. But then QB is the one that's quite good, really good. I mean, yeah. And also, when you get in the video, actually focus on why is it that they are doing better than you might do, and what would you do if you were them in that situation? Why is it that they can outplay the enemy? Think about those stuff. I've certainly learned a lot, and hopefully you can learn a lot from that as well. Second, we can learn from our mistakes. We don't repeat whatever we've done wrong. For example, you don't suicide rush, blah blah blah. You don't shoot your teammate like that IS3 idiot who has got only 600 efficiency. No wonder why he shoots his teammate, because he's a flipping retard. So another one, I'll say never give up, and do as much damage as you can, because if you think about it, some of the times if you don't give up too quickly. Your team might actually pull back a dramatic victory. And also think about it, if you want to improve your stats, you have to get a better damage received to damage dealt ratio. So that means you want to do more damage than you receive, and rushing to die is not very good. So you want to survive as long as possible and do as much damage as possible. If you think about it, if you're dead, you can't fire a gun. If you're alive, you can fire a gun. And that's the difference. You know, it can be a lot difference. You know, if you can just stay alive as long as possible, not ASAP, as long as possible. Remember that. And another thing is, you need to try different play styles. You need to learn how to play your tank that you might not be playing right. For example, French autoloaders have different play styles from other heavy tanks. They're weakly armored. They have very good like rate of fire, burst fire in that particular like 10-second or something like that. So you want to learn the playstyle of them. For example, you don't want to rush in and die in the beginning of the game when you're driving a for example AMX 50B. You don't want to die in the beginning of the game. You want, or let's just put AMX 12D for example. Okay, that light tank, it would be better if you survive longer. And oh my god, what is Meridor doing here? That was pretty newbie by him. Yeah, Meridor, subscriber replays here. Okay, anyway, let's just focus on what I was saying. Yeah, basically adapt to your playstyle, because AMX 1375 or 12T, they don't really do well if you just charge into the enemy base and get killed. I found out that from my mistakes, you really do well when you camp until really the game sort of finishes, and when everyone has low health, you come out and just kill everyone. That's the type of gameplay I think you should do. So yeah, plan your attacks. When you do attack, don't just center rush. There is a thing called tactics, and you need to apply tactics in order to do better, blah blah blah. And yeah, so we can see that right now Meridor is planning an attack, assaulting from this side, and we'll see how he does anyway. While you are watching, he told me that apparently this is a good replay, so I don't know. For me, this is just pretty boring. I don't like camping. Anyway, another thing is, you need to platoon with equally or better players. You don't want to platoon with noobs. That just, you know, that's not good. If you have, for example, 1000 efficiency, don't platoon with a noob that has 400. Try to platoon with someone who has, for example, let's say, for example, you want to platoon up with the guy that has 1500 efficiency, where you actually win more games and you can learn from him more than, you know, you learn from a noob, because you don't actually learn from a noob. All you learn is actually learn the negative stuff. So another thing is, you need to learn techniques special to a tank. For example, if you shake a turret driving a T29, the T29 heavy tank, if you shake the turret when you're coming up a ridge, and then when you see the enemy shoot at your cupola, because that's the only place you can shoot, shake your mouse left and right. You know, that can shake enemies off your, well, certainly off. Their accuracy will be off and away from your cupola, and that means they will most probably miss, and that's what you want to do. You want to learn that particular style of the tank. So keep a note of what I'm saying and watch the video repeatedly, and if you don't get it, then you can ask me in the comments. And yeah, let's begin. Side scraping techniques, another thing that's very important. Side scraping, I'm not really going to show you how to side scrape. I have a video up called War of Tanks, how side scraping like a boss or something like that, where the entire game I don't think I received a single damage, because I side scraped and got 5 kills in the end by playing on Pearl River and just side scrape my way into the enemy base. And yeah, that's how beast, you know, if you side scrape, it is something you want to learn. Another thing is, learn the game mechanics. For example, Jingles talk about the camel rating of the TD, how you hide behind a double bush and not a single bush. Ass of a yak tiger here, very juicy, but it bounced. What the hell? he angled certainly very well, the Yak Tiger. And yeah, learn the game mechanics, like why is it you can't spot them, why is it you can spot them, learn everything. And pretty much that's what I'm gonna say about the game mechanics, and how, for example, light tank get buffed up, camel rating, blah blah blah. You want to learn it. You want to learn the view rank, how it works. You need to learn the numbers. What does the number 75mm of armor mean? It might mean quite a lot to tier 4 tanks, but then it might not mean anything to tier 9 tanks. Stuff like that you need to get used to, but I think you get that by reading historical records, by playing more games, and you will soon get it. Thirdly, I would say, don't be an idiot and push your teammate out into the open. Never ever do that. You don't want to push your teammate out into the open. That's just not right. And if you're outnumbered, you better run, because, for example, let's just use the map right now. If you think about it, if, for example, this 5 people were on you at once, yeah, you're here and they were coming, you better run away. You don't want to shoot that guy, for example, IS, because all of them people is going to fire back at you. So why not run away where your team members are camping at, and wait until they get up, and because they have different speed, they will get up at different time, and you just do better if you don't fight them 1v1. Make sure you outnumber them, or try to make it more fair rather than 1v6 or whatever. Moving on from that one, I have to say that you have to aim weak spots. First of all, for example, if you're gonna fire at an E75, you might want to hit his lower glazes, or if you're aiming at a tortoise, you might need to learn his weak spot, which is the cupola, which is the little machine gun port, or cupola, whatever you call it, above on his left hand side, I believe it was. Well, one of those things above his head, yeah, and almost all the British tank destroyers have the same weak spot there, so you better learn that. And then we can say another thing is to learn to stay calm in some situations. When you're carrying, you might have to stay pretty much calm, so that you don't make mistakes. You know, you need to stay cool, and don't give yourself too much pressure. You know, it's only a game. And then focus fire is my other thing I want to say. First of all, do you know why you want to focus fire? First of all, if you focus fire, this is what happens. For example, if all of us shoot at a single tank, we can manage to kill that single tank rather than damaging 2 of them. You see, if the E50M, and for example, if we spot 3 Ferdinands, you don't shoot. If our team doesn't focus fire on 1 of them, we're gonna do damage to all 3 of them, but then we don't do enough damage to kill any of them. So what you want to do is that all of you want to focus, especially when you have a platoon mate, you want all of you to focus the fire together, so that when you lot aim the shot together, then kill the Ferdinand, then you will be 3 versus 2 rather than 3 versus 3. But then they have they still have 3 guns available in the game. Then if you kill 1 of them, that will be 2 guns left. So you get me? If you just focus fire, you kill more enemy, then that means eradicating 1 more gun, so that less enemy guns will be able to shoot back at you. So always, at all costs, shoot the ones with the lowest health to secure the kill, and focus fire, especially when you have a teammate. That's why I say kill the ones with less health, because you remove one of their shots shooting at you. And let's just think about another one, is to maximize your pros and exploit enemy comms. For example, we know that the ISU has a comm which is, for example, it has crap armor, and then you see the Yak Panda too, it has pretty crap whole armor, but then the good turret armor, I mean not the turret armor, the top upper plate is pretty good. So what you want to do is that you want to exploit the enemy weakness and do something which exploits their weakness. Then you can maximize your own. So what I'm saying is that, if, for example, if I'm driving an IS-6 against a Ferdinand, you don't want to trade shot with a Ferdinand, because the pro of the Ferdinand is that the Ferdinand has more damage than you. So what you want to do is that you want to use your mobility, which is your pro or your rate of fire, or the fact that you're not a tank destroyer. You can fire, you can move around and still fire, and he has a limited gun traverse, and that's probably the Ferdinand's cons, so the bad points about the Ferdinand, and that's why you want to maximize your own good pros. And in order to do that, you need to think about it, and that's what I'm saying. Sometimes playing a game, really, you need to use your brain. Sometimes I've seen plenty of players, that don't use their brain and fail plenty of times. So maximize your pros and limit the enemy's pros, and that way you can do better. And I'm sure all the unicorn players certainly do that. Then I have to say, aim at the tracks so you can take their tracks off and still do damage. Let's just pause this. So if you see an ISU-152 from this distance, what you want to do is that you want to get the gun to shoot his front wheel gap. If I press Control to allow my mouse, it turns into the map. So it's pretty stupid. This mod I downloaded does that to me. But you want to shoot the front wheel gear from this angle. You will knock his gear off from here. If you see, yeah, there. Let's just explain it here then. Use the SU as an example. Can we use him? Okay. So you want to knock. Actually, we just use ISU then. You can knock out that wheel there and track him, and still do damage if you shoot it from this angle, or that angle, or this angle. And for example, if you get the side of the ISU-152, aim for either there to set him on fire, or aim there to ammo rack him. But if he has more health than you and you know that you can't one-shot him, just pinpoint that wheel gap, those two wheels. You will knock down the tracks, so he will be immobilized and his gun cannot shoot at you. So that's one thing you might want to do. I've seen QB do it. QB still stays very calm indeed when he faces tank destroyers and other heavy tanks, slow tanks. He just knock out the tracks. You might need a good mouse and not a dodgy hand, shaky hand. I mean, yeah. So you want to be pretty accurate and try to aim for the front tracks, track them and do damage. That's one of the things I've learned from QB, and I'm trying to do that as well. So I'm gonna try and practice that. Anyway. Looking at the other one, don't suicide rush. As I was saying, scouts are no use to our team if you just charge right into the enemy base, spot 10 people and die. That's not right. And I have to say, look at the map. There's so many players that don't look at the map. If you're gonna get flanked, you better look at the map. You read the map. You stay attend. You must make sure the map is big. For example, I don't keep my map that big. I make it big as possible, like that big, so I can see the whole situation, how it develops, blah blah blah. That's how you want to do it. And find good spots. What I mean by good spots is that right now, for example, I'm not finding a good spot because I'm not behind a bush. So this might, in a real some sort of situation, might not be good. But since I know the enemy is nowhere near me yet, I'm not in the trouble of having to get spotted yet until the E75. So you see, immediately when the E75 popped up, I looked at the E75 because I am very aware of the map. You must be aware of your map, The map is very important. Use your terrain. You see, get down the low slope. E75 don't really have a shot at you, so he advances, and that's the way you do it. Use your terrain. Make the most of it. So I know that there's a Baltic button. Should I slam a shot into him? We'll see. Thirdly, we have to say you don't rage. Raging is not good. It would only make your game bad, I would say. And then you have to stay away from noobs. So I recommend if you use the XVM. When you use the XVM, you can see how good players are. If you see that you're staying next to a noob and he's gonna quite ruin your life, and you might not want to rely on him, then I sincerely hope that you don't, or you check on his stats first. So right now I know that my team members, none of them are particularly good, so I mean I have to use them so that I don't want to die, because I'm the one that's gonna carry this game, I believe. So I want myself to survive here, and in order to do that I must camp and then use them to scout for me. And also I want to say, you want to get a good frame per second, because what you want to do is that you want to make sure that your computer don't troll you. So that means you should get yourself a good computer with good frames per second. For example, I'm playing water tanks on max graphics, except the shadows on max, because I don't think the shadows that important, and I like to get slightly higher frame per second anyway. Normally my frame per second is normally higher than 58 and 60s, so that's pretty good. And then you need to get some mods if you have a crap computer to remove some of the special effects, to maximize your frame per second again. Set a hotkey for fire extinguisher, another thing. I noticed QB do it, so I've done it. So you can see on the bottom there, I have space and for the fire extinguisher. So what I mean is that instead of pressing number 7 or number 6, number 6, yeah. Instead of pressing number 6, which can be quite complicated in a game when I get set on fire, remember, the faster you click the fire extinguisher button, the less damage you take. So I would really advise you to swap the hotkey in the settings. In the settings below here, controls, change it. And also, like QB does, I changed my requesting fire button on T just to make it more easy, and pressing help is just number pad 0. It helps quite a lot, pretty good things to do. Then I have to say, you want to play some background music if it helps you. Certainly sometimes if you're in the mode, you can play some rock, you can play some heavy metal if you want, just to enjoy the game more and get yourself relaxed. Sometimes music do work, but then sometimes you don't really need it. Depend on your own. That's optional. I'm suggesting possibly. Focus on the game and don't play 2 games at the same time, or don't do something that will distract you at the same time. So if you're gonna play a game, don't play it and then go away, then come back after 5 minutes, find yourself dead. If you're gonna play, then play. That's what I'm saying. That will, if you're just gonna go AFK, you're gonna ruin your own stats as well. So I believe that you must play like you really are playing a professional game or some sort, just to make sure that you can make the most of your stats. Then you can make your mouse. You need a more precise mouse. Well, I mean that you get a professional gaming mouse if you're really serious on your gaming, because I think it minimizes shaking on the gun. So that's something pretty much you might want to try out. Get yourself a better mouse, but then get a better computer first, and get a mouse of your own hand size. Don't get a little tiny mouse that you can't even touch. I mean, you can't even really hold on comfortably. Get a good mouse as well. Then I have to say, you have to make your screen pretty simple. The thing is, you see, the reason I don't use DG is that I don't think it's particularly well. I think the mod itself is pretty good, but then the problem being that is that the DG mod makes the screen very messy. I would say there's too much data displayed on my screen, and that can ruin some of your reaction times. So I would like to say you might want to get mods that are not that complicated. So I know, you see me, I got those mods where it tells me whoever shot me. I don't know if that's allowed or not, but I think it is, because it's on the Water Tanks forums and they were saying apparently it's allowed. So I downloaded it. Tells you who smashed you for how much damage, and how long is the reload. Then I have to say, you have to stay alive. For example, if I rushed out in the beginning of the game right into the riverbanks, I would have died, no doubt about that. So if I stayed alive longer, you see, I can sort of carry this and then I have to say, watch some funny videos when you're raging. You know, it helps you out. Watch some funny guy on YouTube. You know, it might help you a lot. So react to your situation. So you see, I know there's a Borsig there, so I decided to load high explosive in a moment, because I know the Borsig's down there. I'm gonna take out the Borsig, so because I know the other tanks are going down there, I can't really support them because I don't have a view range. So I decided that I'm gonna load a high explosive round to one shot the Rheinberg Borsig, because I have a high explosive, quite a powerful gun, you know, BL10. I can smash a Borsig certainly. And then last thing is to enjoy the game. Just enjoy your game, and yeah. Tell me if you like my video. It certainly took a while for me to make this video happen, because I had to make notes of all the key points you want to do. You want to improve on your gameplay in order to become a better player. So yeah, please give me comments and support if you want. Give me a thumbs up for this video. This is like one of my special videos talking about how you can become a better player. Certainly my stats are going up as well, and yes, I didn't have the best of days, but then we can all improve certainly. And I'm just gonna finish by talking about my channel until the game finishes. My channel is doing pretty good at the moment. Only 60 subscribers though. AFK Lover, and if you just saw my channel for the first time, I recommend you to definitely subscribe, and hopefully if you want, you can contact me. I'm not that busy, so I'm pretty sure I can talk to most of the subscribers anyway. If you send me an email, you probably will receive an email back within within a few hours. So that's something you can't get from big YouTubers. So take this opportunity to become a better player anyway from this video. Watch it back and watch it 2 times, I would say, and note it down the key points.